Hello, my friends. I'd like to read to you one of my favorite books about the moon, and it's called Faces of the Moon. And it's written by Bob Crellin and illustrated by Leslie Evans. And I particularly like the illustrations in this book and how they're kind of cut out. So I can be the man in the moon. All right, and here we have a full moon. Faces of the Moon. And we've got some binoculars and the moon journal. So here we go. I'll have to tip the book so I can read it. Do you wonder when you see the moon at dusk or dawn or midday noon, just why her face is curved or round, or why she sometimes can't be found? Each month the moon transforms her face, which grows and shrinks at steady pace. Her changing looks reveal her place in orbit round our globe. You'll notice that this book rhymes. And also that the moon is referred to as a she. So we sometimes refer to the moon as, we give it the female gender. Each changing face or lunar phase, so lunar means moon, repeats each 29 days, from thin to thick, from dark to light, sometimes in day, sometimes at night. Our mighty sun, with sunbeams bright, shines upon the moon in flight, and paints her shadowed face with light, to make the phase we see. And this is what I saw this morning. There we go. Sorry. Okay. For as she orbits Earth in space, the sunlight moves across her face, and from our world beneath the sky, we watch moon change as days go by. From night to night and day to day, she'll wax or grow, then wane away. Each phase has earned a name, we say, as light and shadows change. All right, my friends. They're kind of doing like an experiment, an example. So this light would be the sun. Okay, here we go on the phases. All right, here's the first phase. And we can't see the moon. The moon's first phase, we call it new. So it'd be a new moon. When moon's between the sky and you, her sunlit side is turned away, and we can't see her night or day. And one of the things I like about this book, it tells us when we could expect to see the moon if it's clear. New moon rises and sets with the sun. We can't see the new moon. But we have our... One thing I like about these illustrations is they have cutouts to show how the moon is changing shape. A few days pass, and moon's less shy. Her smile lights the twilight sky. The more her sunlit surface shows, the more moon's waxing crescent grows. So waxing crescent moon rises in the mid-morning and sets in the mid-evening. So they're saying like twilight. So you might be able, this would be a moon that you might see in the afternoon, in late morning, in the morning, or just as it's getting dark at twilight. We notice moon's first quarter phase right here. It looks like it's been cut right in half, the face of the moon. See how that's cut out. We notice moon's first quarter phase around the count of 7 days. Her western half so brightly lit, right down the middle, moon looks split. So the first quarter moon rises around midday, so about noontime, and sets around midnight. So you could see this first quarter moon maybe in the afternoon, maybe at night. Once she's past first quarter moon, we find her in the afternoon, now waxing gibbous, fat with light. She's nearly round, up late at night. So here's the picture of the waxing. Waxing again means growing. So it's gone from the quarter. See how it's getting more light across the surface. Waxing gibbous moon rises in the mid-afternoon and sets hours before sunrise. So you would be able to look out your window on a clear night and see this moon, or go outside and see the waxing or growing gibbous. All right, and next comes the full moon. Next comes moon's most famous phase around the count of 14 days. Her monthly orbit's halfway done, and now she's opposite the sun. So here's the full moon. And it appears to be full for a couple of days. Again, the full moon's big and bright and round, with not a shadow to be found, now rules the heavens all night long, and sets upon the break of dawn. So the full moon rises at sunset and sets at sunrise. So you're not going to see a full moon during the day. And now the moon's going to be starting to get smaller again. Once past full, the shadows start to darken moon's most western part, and later each night she'll embark the waning gibbous moon. So waning, it's going to be getting smaller. And again, the light, when it was waxing, came from the west to the east on the moon, or I call it right to left. The darkness or shadow comes from the west as well, from the right to the left. Waning gibbous moon rises in the mid-evening and sets shortly after sunrise. So again, you will see this moon, the waning gibbous, at night. Now we have what I saw this morning. At moon's last quarter of her trip, her eastern half is brightly lit. Round midnight hour she will rise to shine amid the morning skies. Last quarter moon rises around midnight and sets around midday. Right, so I was out at 7 o'clock this morning, and this is what I saw, the moon. All right, let's see. So here we have the waning crescent. From early dawn to morning blue, her crescent grin is smiling through. Poised high above the morning dew is waning crescent moon, and the waning crescent moon rises hours before sunrise and sets in the mid-afternoon. So you will not see this moon at night, the waning crescent. Here we go. Then moon returns where she'd begun to hide between our earth and sun. And though this orbit now is done, next month she'll start anew. So we're back to the new moon. And it starts all over again. It's a pattern of nature. A pattern is something that repeats. So every month. As long as we have watched the skies, so this nearby world has drawn our eyes in singer songs and poets' rhyme across our globe and throughout time. The moon reminds us of our place, a spinning world in endless space. Each month, her ever-changing face is right outside your door. So every time you spot the moon at dusk or dawn or midday noon, you'll know her by her friendly phase and watch her changing through all your days. And you know, sometimes it's nice, especially as there's so much uncertainty right now in the world, if we think about things that are certain and the moon and the phases of the moon, it kind of helps us keep things into perspective. All right, my friends, well, happy moon watching. I hope you enjoyed this book. Bye-bye.